Hey guys, it's Hannah.
Hey, it's Shiloh.
Camila.
And welcome back to Mics and Mischief, where we'll dive into questions and topics that are important to Gen Z. Each week, we'll bring you fresh insights, intriguing concepts, and thought-provoking conversations. So grab your headphones, get comfy, and let's get into it.
Today we will be talking about Valentine's Day, what it means, represents, and if it's still valued today as much as it used to be. To start off, what are everyone's plans for Valentine's Day?
Nothing. I don't really see it as a holiday. It's not something that I celebrate annually.
Okay, my plans for Valentine's Day are I'm having a little Galentine's Day party. I was like, low-key, I was feeling super bored, and I was like, why don't I just plan something and have a little party? So I'm having all my friends dress up cute. We're going to take pictures. And yeah, that's my plans. Camila?
I don't celebrate Valentine's Day, so it's going to be a regular day for me.
Okay, I see you. Okay, so one of my questions for this segment that I kind of came into this with is, does Valentine's Day leave people feeling more connected or lonelier?
I think that depends. Because, I mean, if you're in a loving relationship, then I feel like Valentine's Day would be fit for you and your significant other. But if you're single...
No, and that single people were specifically what I had in mind for Valentine's Day. So what are your thoughts on, like, for single people?
I mean, some people joke around, especially, and they're like, oh my goodness, I'm going to ruin everyone's Valentine's Day.
Right, yeah, no,
Or like, I'm going to throw a box of chocolates at them.
Yeah.
I don't know. But personally, I don't really mind for it. Like, I'm happy for couples who are happy.
Right, yeah.
But, I mean, I don't really, it's not really something that I considered.
Right. Yeah, so. I see you. So, okay, if we look at, like, what Valentine's Day means, it's really just an opportunity to show the people you care about that you care about them and that you love them. But, like, in my opinion, Valentine's Day really isn't needed because if you show those people that you care about them throughout the whole year, like, all those other days, you don't really need one day to be like, by the way, I care about you, because you're showing them that consistently. Yeah. And I think that's what comes with healthy relationships is that, Valentine's Day shouldn't be the only day that you tell your significant other or, your friends or your family that you care about them. That should be a regular occurrence.
Yeah.
So I was doing as I do best for this podcast, which is research, I'd like to say. And so I was searching up, the history of Valentine's Day, what it comes for, and all these things. So Valentine's Day, Valentine, the god, we all know that. But Valentine's Day also comes to the feast day of two different Christian martyrs named Valentine. But the same custom connected with that day has nothing to do with the life of saints. They probably come from an ancient Roman festival called, and I'm going to butcher it, Lupercalia, which took place every February 15th. The festival honored Juno, the Roman goddess of women and marriage, and Pan, the god of nature. So, and then the follow-up question is like, how did it become so popular? It was after the spread of Christianity, churchmen tried to give Christian meaning to the festival, and in 1496, a pope changed the Lupercalia festival of February 15th to St. Valentine's Day on February 14th, but the sentimental meaning of the old festival has remained to the present time.
Okay. That's all very interesting. Do we think, does Gen Z actually care about Valentine's Day? That's my question, because we can even take, like, couples in a relationship into consideration, but, like, does Gen Z actually care, or is it just, like, another thing that people have done for the past few generations?
I think it's a thing like Mother's Day and Father's Day where it's an excuse to highlight something that should be highlighted every single day of one's life. I don't think if you need to mark the day in a calendar to remember to give your girlfriend flowers or your boyfriend, special attention, or to tell your wife you love her, then the problem runs deep.
Yeah.
I agree, because why is it only one special day where we give each other's significant other or spouses like a gift or a loving gift from the heart? But is it only one day, or can we do it every day or some day of the month and not just February 14th? What I want to bring up is one of my friends do care about Valentine's Day, and she did write a love letter.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
To who? Like, just her, like, significant other?
Interessante.
We're gonna not name drop.
Okay.
But yes, it is to her significant other. And when I read it, I really appreciate how genuine her love was for that person.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I was, like, deep inside hoping it was, like, super cringe, and we could laugh about it.
It was.
Okay.
But
To be cringe is to be free.
Oh, gosh.
exactly. I agree with that.
What the heck? Okay, so another one of my questions is it's kind of a question, kind of a statement. I don't think as many people would, especially Gen Zers that are single, I don't think they would celebrate Valentine's Day or even like really take it into consideration if there wasn't some amount of social pressure behind it.
Like, what do you mean?
So like, I don't know for sure, but I would definitely see that there's a certain social pressure to do something for Valentine's Day. And obviously like that's not how I operate, but I could definitely see, and I notice our generation doing things simply because society says that it's important. And so I think that Valentine's Day is one of those things. Like, I'm not gonna name drop, but
Right.
I will say, like, multiple of my friends have gotten in a relationship recently, and those were, like, after conversations that they were like, yeah, like, I'm gonna be alone for Valentine's Day. And so I'm kind of curious, like, are those relationships just solely because Valentine's Day is coming up?
Yeah.
And also, like, I feel like a lot of single people do something for Valentine's Day. Just even though they're single. Like, why are you celebrating it? And I'm not saying that's bad, but at the same time, like, is it just happening because there's some kind of social pressure behind it?
Yeah, I agree.
Well, I definitely think that there is a societal pressure to not be single on Valentine's Day, and I actually kind of correlated to a school dance because we have a school dance coming up. Loyalty. But I've heard so many comments of, I'm single, I better just find somebody for the dance, you know?
Yeah.
And so I think it's a societal pressure to find somebody
To be
with on Valentine's,
Yeah.
to not feel lonely. And it's, I mean, do you need a partner to feel loved and appreciated? Like,
No.
you know? So I think it's definitely something that society has highlighted and has made an insecurity for many people. And so I feel like when people see Valentine's coming up, when they see the flowers and the roses and the hearts at the grocery stores and on social media and everywhere, they start thinking, and I feel like some people even start judging themselves or feel even more lonely, saying that they don't have that a special someone to celebrate it with.
Yeah.
I think it's FOMO, to be honest, or fear of
absolutely.
missing out.
Yeah.
Like, you could see everyone around you coupled up on Valentine's Day, giving each other gifts, chocolates or whatnot, and then you're just there, like, standing on your own little island with no one else to celebrate that holiday with.
Yeah.
But I mean, Valentine's Day is not the only day you're single, so I don't get.
No, right,
So I don't
yeah.
get why you're.
Yeah.
Some people complain on Valentine's Day specifically, but I do see their perspective. So
Yeah. Another thing I want to briefly bring up, and I just want to take a little minute for this, is I think even more than the societal pressure and the like wanting to express people's love for one another on Valentine's Day, I honestly think this is a marketing strategy for people to buy. Like, think about all the things that people want: flowers, chocolate, gifts, etc. But like, think about how much money Valentine's Day probably makes all these big businesses or even small businesses.
Think about the jewelry stores.
Oh, yeah.
Think about the
Pandora.
jewelry stores.
Exactly.
yeah,
And even though like there are obviously so many other times where people buy things, I suspect that their purchases and their money made on Valentine's Day goes up significantly.
I think Valentine's Day is like any other nationalized holiday, even Christmas as well. I feel like it's very it's a marketing strategy, and I feel like many things are pushed and it's called for all the time, because then you start getting all the ads of like K Jewelers and Pandora, and Macy's even gets on it. Macy's crazy on it.
not as a name dropping brand.
Oh, sorry. Target. But
Yeah.
I definitely think it's a marketing strategy. I can see how they always push the agenda of it's Valentine's Day, so what are you going to do about it?
Yeah,
what are you doing?
Right. So, as we've already touched on how Valentine's Day is prevalent, what do you think its influence is on society?
Well, I think we've already partially talked about that just with, like, you know, the money and stuff with, like, the businesses and stuff. Another thing is, I think depending on the person, like, I ultimately think it does leave a lot of people feeling loved and cared for, but at the same time, I think it leaves a lot of people in a lonely place, just because for some people, like, especially that are single, it's just another reminder that they're single. And by and large, the majority of people don't want to be single. So it's just another reminder, and I think it does leave a lot of people in a lonelier place, even if it's just that reminder that, you know, you don't have that significant other, even if you're celebrating with other friends. But another one of my questions is it just a waste of time that's, like, essentially forgotten the next day? You know, maybe there's a little bit of buzz about what someone did for you, like, the next day, but then, like, 2 days later, like, you don't hear anything about it.
It's definitely just something of relevancy, because even Valentine's doesn't even get that much hype up until the day. Like Christmas, you already see those decorations up in September.
Right.
So Valentine's Day is obviously one of those smaller, more insignificant holidays, and that's funny because it's the one about love. Yeah. But lots of people also just find it like a time to highlight their love for other people.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna ask you this: when you're on if you're on Instagram or like Pinterest and you see that somebody got proposed to on Valentine's Day, doesn't it feel kind of cheap? Don't you?
Yeah,
aren't you
it does.
like?
I feel like
think of a more important day, or like you couldn't have made it more personal. You know, because that's personally what I feel when I see it. No judge to somebody who wants it to be on Valentine's Day or that's their thing.
Yeah.
Go ahead. But for me, it feels like it could be more personalized. It could be more like, I know what this means to this person. I'll do it that day. But if Valentine's Day is that day, then I guess go ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I feel like, I mean, love is celebrated, especially on Valentine's Day, and you're over here proposing to someone, and, like, it doesn't really feel as special, quote unquote, because everyone else around you is celebrating that love.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I think, like, another thing that we have to ask ourselves is, how can we show the people that we love and care about that they're cared for on Valentine's Day and not fall into that marketing trap and not be, like, giving into what these big businesses and even small businesses want, which is more money on that day?
I love that question, and personally for me, it's to show that love that you have for them every day of the year.
Yeah, that was my exact train of thought, yeah.
Every day of the year. Don't, I'm not saying, like, you have to do something grandiose every day, but I am saying that small gestures do count. Absolutely. I've seen lots of people who appreciate that more than a big bouquet or an expensive piece of jewelry. Yeah. So to not fall into Valentine marketing strategy and the company's plans to gain more money, it would be to make it a routine to do something meaningful, maybe small though, to the people around you that you love.
Yeah. So, like, have your partner be seen every other day, even on Valentine's Day.
And I don't think it's just limited to partners Valentine's Day. I think I'm including your mom, your dad, your sister, your brother, you know, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your fiance. So I feel like Valentine's Day, though it's mostly highlighted for romantic love, there's also platonic love, you know, there's also blood tie love, you know, your parents, the family. So show that to everybody around you. Don't just limit your love to a day or a specific person and the title you have it with.
Yeah, absolutely. And I want to briefly touch on this point, and it's really a question. What do you guys think about situationships and talking stages? Like, how should they go about Valentine's Day, or should they do anything? Like, what do you guys think?
Well, I think that's a conversation to be brought up with the person that you're talking to. I don't know, because it really depends.
Let me reshape the question. Do you think situationships should expect a Valentine's? Do you think they should be like...
Sure, yeah.
Like, are they going to get me something? Or am I...
Yeah.
Can I expect a gift from this person?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
I agree with what Shai was saying, which is essentially that it's so subjective.
Yeah.
And that every situationship and talking stage differs so differently.
Yeah.
And so it's really just, you know...
But even then, if you're questioning whether or not that person you're talking to is going to give you something on Valentine's Day, then are they really going to give you something on Valentine's Day if you're doubting it? So
yeah, that's a good question. But if we look at, like, I don't know, because talking stages are so like, in my opinion, from kind of my experience, it's like, he likes me not. He likes me. So like, you never know. Like, from my experience, you never know if that person's, unless they've specifically told you, if they're like genuinely interested in you or if they're just bored, you know?
Yeah.
It's not situationships. I feel like other relationships doubt if they're gonna get something.
Yeah.
I feel like
I agree with that.
I feel like Valentine's Day brings up a day of doubt too.
That's
A day
You're
of
like,
doubt.
does he remember? Does he care?
Miscommunication.
Does he
Yeah.
love me? Does he not? Like you were saying,
Right.
Ariel on the stone picking
Oh,
that
gosh,
flower.
yes.
Does he love me? He loves me now.
Yes.
I know some haters out there on Valentine's Day, but people who hate that holiday
Aw.
act like it's the only day nobody loves them. I'm just saying, I want to put it out there. So, I don't think Valentine's Day is an excuse to, throw a tantrum or cry out that you're single on that day.
I think what we need to take away from today's lesson is if you have nobody on Valentine's Day, that's okay. If don't let yourself be limited to show your love on a day or a person, and show that love that you have to everybody that matters to you, and even those who don't, because we have to I love everyone in one way or another. I'm not telling you how to do it though. And I think celebrate, but don't just celebrate February 14th.
Yeah.
Celebrate every day.
Well, that's going to wrap up this podcast episode. Let us know any comments, questions, or even possible segment ideas you would like to hear. Also, if you'd like to be featured or join us for an episode, you can find the link on our social media. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and Spotify. Until our next episode, keep exploring, stay curious, and thanks for being part of the Mics and Mischief community. See you next time.